Yo, what up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good during this holiday season. Yo, so been kicked back, relaxing today, cleaning up, getting ready, preparing myself, my gear and everything to get out of the army. It's a good thing you guys can only see me because my house is all kind of jacked up. Um, if the music is too loud or whatever, let me know. You know what I'm saying? So I can turn it down so you guys can hear me. You know what I'm saying? But in the interim, if the music is too loud, let me know so I turn it down. You know what I'm saying? That way you can hear me. At least, if you're going to listen or whatever. But hey, check it out, man. So I was listening to Tupac today. I watched a couple of Tupac interviews, with Sway and a couple of them with a couple other cats, man. It was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? I sat back and I listened to what Pac was saying. Sometimes people listen to somebody talk, but they won't put their own perspective on it. You know what I'm saying? They won't elaborate on it. You know what I'm saying? But I want to talk about some of the things that I took out of this message that Pac brought up. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, right? Back to Jim Crow and all of this time. You know what I'm saying? To the people that's listening to me, I want you to understand something. I'm not looking at this as a black-white issue or anything. I'm looking at this as a humanity issue, a human issue. This is real. Back in the day during Jim Crow times, you know what I'm saying? Y'all think about it. The black man was in slavery, then he was freed. Then in between that time, there was a whole bunch of time all the way up to Jim Crow that we was just fighting for equality after slavery, right? So when the black people were there then, you know what I'm saying, in the 60s, you had Martin Luther King, you had all these Medgar Evers and all of these leaders that were there to help the people, transgress and progress to a new situation of understanding. Not just the black people, I'm talking about the white people, the whole new thing, you know what I'm saying? Well, at that time, they would take to the streets and they would protest, They would protest, they would organize. It was very well organized, you know what I'm saying? Which, if you think about it, caught the powers that be, by surprise, because they didn't understand or think that the blacks had the audacity or the ability to mobilize so quickly and start marching and protesting and, starting to be seen visually, you know what I'm saying, about the issues that was going on in the South and the issues that was going on with the blacks in America. You know what I'm saying, the oppression that was going on within their own communities, within the places that they had to work, and stuff like that. They didn't think that it would happen so much, so fast. So just like any other thing in nature, when something happens fast, there's an equal reaction to that. So they reacted with violence, right? They reacted with dogs, hoses, and police brutality. That's how they reacted, right? Because they didn't understand how it could happen so fast, so they wasn't prepared for it, right? So you look at, and you got to think about this, you know what I'm saying? The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Well, us in the black community, we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? We're not learning from our mistakes. We're not changing up the situation of what we're trying to do. So you think about it like this. They know we're going to protest when something bad's happening. I say they by, the oppressors. I'm not talking about all white people. I'm not talking about white people in general. I'm talking about the system. The system is set up to know that we will protest when things go bad. So they're prepared for that now. Sorry about that. They're prepared for that now. You know what I'm saying? This is why you don't see no more, beatings on the news with the batons and the dogs and the water hoses being, thrown at people and stuff like that anymore, because they're prepared for that. They know how to react. So instead, they put insurgents in the group to rile up the crowd and to create a riot so they can turn around and say, see, this is how them niggas are. It's smart. You know what I'm saying? It's very smart. So if you wanna try to change the system, you want to try to change how things go, you got to change your approach. You got to change how you're doing. If you want to march and you want to protest, you got to find a different kind of way of protesting, because they are prepared for us to come out into the streets. They're prepared for you to go out there and tear shit up. It's called insurance, collateral damage, riot gear, cameras, insurgents that's going to get into your group, the people that you going out there to protest with, and they're going to pretend like they're one of you, and they're going to cause problems within your group. So you all of a sudden went out there for a peaceful demonstration that turns into an all-out riot. This is, in all essence, it's brilliant. You know what I'm saying? But if we're going to get equality, because once the black man reaches his maturity, once the black people, the black community reach their maturity, that's when America will truly be great. Because you can't oppress anybody, anywhere, especially in a nation like this. You cannot oppress people and expect for the status quo to remain the same. I said that to say this. We have to change our approach. Protesting does not work. All it does is make for good news, good media. That's it. So the first way, I wrote this down, so I keep looking down because I wrote down my thoughts because this is important to me, and I want to make sure that I put it out how I was thinking about it. I don't want to miss out on the thoughts that I was using. You know what I'm saying? So, effective marching and stuff like that, it doesn't work. It only worked during the civil rights movement when it was, like I said, when it was a big surprise. It wasn't prepared for that, but they're prepared for you now. If you want to get your equality here, you have to own your talents. You have to own your own. You can't be out there thinking just because you got a job, just because you driving a nice car, just because you living in a nice neighborhood, that it's not a handout. It is. You don't own the things that you have. Ownership is when you can create those things, when you are selling those things to your own community, when you as yourself own stuff. You know what I'm saying? We don't own anything. We have no viable visual economic contribute. We're not contributing to the American system. So therefore, we are still toddlers. We're not even in adolescence yet. We're not even in teenage years. We're still toddlers in our own existence inside of this country that we want to say is our country and we belong here. We have yet to take that step. The way I can tell you how important it is economically for us to take that next step, because all of this stuff that's going on around you, you think that you're a baller because you got all this shit. Economically, we have no power. And when we did create Black Wall Street, and when we did all start doing other things, that fear of us being economically equal to them made them destroy the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Because they knew how important it is economically for you to be able to stand at the same foot. Who cares if you call me a nigga if I own what I create? If I own that's, what's around me. You can say whatever you want to say about me. But see, when you can't control me, when they can't control us, they control our talents. You don't believe me? Think about it like this. You got the black kids going and playing for these major colleges, and they make all these rules, and they using these kids, and they making money off of these kids in these colleges, but yet these kids can't get anything for their services at these colleges. In all essence of the word employment, these kids are employees, because the benefits that they get from their scholarship is school, is college, right? But that's it. That's like saying that you're going to go and work for this Fortune 500 company, but the only thing you're going to get is health insurance and dental and visual benefits. Would you do that? Would you go and work for just benefits without pay? That's what's happening to these kids because they don't own their talents. These corporations, these colleges, they own their talents, right? You have to own what you create in this world. So no matter how long or how long it's existed, it's always yours. Your talent should be what you are about. That's what you are. So if you create something in this world, no man should get paid for your creation. So if God gave you a talent and you go out there and you play football and you make $1 million and they paying you for your talents, but you don't own your own products, your own self, your sovereignty of your soul, then you're really not in control of that because it can be taken away from you at any time. So to the fathers out there that's raising their kids, if you want to break the cycle, if you want to learn how to fight and how to move up to the next level, you got to teach your kid how to own their talent. Never let them be convinced by anybody else about what they should do, right? Because when they recognize your talents, they coming. Because your talents generate revenue for them. You know? So in the black community, we got to start owning our talents. We got to start owning what we do. If we don't own what we do, then they don't really give a shit about any of our opinions or our protesting on the streets, because our opinions are not valuable. They're not valuable, and they're not validated, because we're not adding to the economic power that is of America. But our talents generate so much money for America. The music industry, the movies, the style, the drinks, the swag, all of this shit generate money for America, but we not getting paid for our own products. Because we don't own our talents. We whore ourselves out. We get pimped, but we ain't trying to own our talent. And the only way we can get ahead as a community is to stop going out here and saying that the white man is against you, and start turning your own self for you. Start putting your energy back into your community. Start learning how to make things better for your community and yourself and your family. Start thinking about legacy instead of balling for the weekend. Start thinking about more like longevity for your kids and your grandkids instead of rims for your new car. I know it's hard to understand, because we don't support each other like we're supposed to. And then when somebody come out and say some shit like I'm saying right now, we so quick to call them a crack, crazy, and just want to be dismissive of this person, instead of understanding that, look, the more we connect, the more we network, the more we work together and start understanding the economic system that we so want to exist in, because we are just consumers. We just want to go out and buy so people can see how fly we are. But we don't want to create. And then when there is a black business, we don't support it. Unless it's like Jay-Z or some of those big guys, they don't need our dollars. They don't need our money. Our money is needed in our own community. Our money is needed not just to say black owned, black this and that, but we need to be franchising our own stuff, our own products, our own talents. Instead of so quick to make something and sell it, get rid of it, and then you no longer have control of your talent. Because once you sign that contract with anybody, they own your ass. You know? This is the same shit that I go through in my life with the shit I do. If you know what I do for work, I'm not going to mention it now. If you know what I do for work, it's the same thing. Because people that are poor judges of talent, eventually when they see your talent, they're going to use your talent. And you're not going to get none of the credit for your talent. They're going to get all the credit for putting you in that position so that you can be used to make their organization better, but they're not going to give you credit for your own fucking talent. So it's time for us to become accountable for each other in more than a way of not snitching. It's time for us to become accountable to actually build and groom our kids up so they can be successful and understand that there is a war going out, and the only people that's going to have your best interests is your family and your friends, the people that you get to choose. Don't allow anybody to come in and tell you how great and wonderful and amazing you are, to pump you up and blind you to the fact while they rubbing your ego and making you feel all good that they sticking you in the fucking back at the same time. We have to start teaching our kids how to play chess in this world, because we steady playing marbles. We ain't even playing checkers. We playing marbles. All the pieces always run off the board, because the minute that our little black people get a little money, they out the hood and they ain't trying to come back and do nothing for nobody in the hood. But they always say they got love for the hood. You know what I'm saying? So it's time for us to change the way we operate. We can't continue to sit here and keep protesting when that shit don't work. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we need to give up, but no. Insanity is the key, you know what I'm saying, that we just living by. And they expect us to riot. When a black person gets shot by the police, they're like, okay, these niggas gonna riot and it's gonna die down. 5 months later, another motherfucker dead and it's gonna die down. This is what they expect. They're going to tear some shit up. They're going to become exhausted. We're going to put some cops out here. And then if it's like in a major neighborhood, major community like in Maryland, they're going to put some insurgents into the group that you think is your nigga, that you think is a nigga that came to support you. But this nigga came there to stir up trouble because he on the CIA or the FBI's payroll, and that's what they there for. See, y'all see me, you hear me talking, and you might think that I'm on some crazy shit, but I ain't crazy. You know what I'm saying? Listen to me now. Hear what I'm saying. At least try to buffer it a little bit and think about it. Let it spin around up here. Let it buffer a little bit. Because eventually, when this shit that I'm saying starts to happen between our communities, when we start to network and work together, they're going to shut me down. They're going to shut me up. Just like they shut Pac up, just like they shut Martin Luther King up, just like they shut Medgar Evers up, just like they shut down Malcolm X. That's what they do. They have a system that works for them. And the greatest thing that they ever done was create Barack Obama. Because regardless of what that man did, black people worship him like he the second coming of Jesus. Not knowing that his policies didn't do anything to help you. There's a treaty out there that the Indians signed in 1833, 1866, and 1906 that states that we were supposed to get the same reparations that the Indian got, the same land, the ability to run our own businesses tax-free. And Obama has denied that shit, saying that the statute of limitation has been exalted. That's your black president. He was never the black president. He was a face of a corporation. I understand. It's painful. It was painful for me to let go of that white Jesus. But I had to come to grips with what's really going on inside our own society, inside our own mind, because slavery still exists. It's not around your hands anymore or your feet. It's right here. You can't free yourself from perception. You perceive things and think that this is what it is. Instead of trying to look behind it and see what's really going on behind it, you just take that perception and you run with it. And it hurts us so bad in our community. So there's a lot of things I want to do moving forward. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the things I want to do. I'm trying to get a little better every time I do a video. It's been a while. But we have to connect. As a black man, I should not be afraid to go into my other black neighborhoods around the world and sit down and politic with the elders of that community. Yes, I said elders. The one thing that I've learned in life, you got to let people be what they're going to be. You got to let them be who they are. You can't change anybody. But those vines, those roots, and those trees that's going to grow, you can groom them in the right direction. You ever seen a tree grow out of a mountain? The mountainside will be like this. The tree will dart up and go straight up. That's what I'm talking about. That's strength. And that's what we have here. We've been here for a long time. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to UGK, Diamonds Up Against the Wood, baby, we've been going hard for a long time. But see, the thing is, the caliber of our leadership today, we don't have any leadership in the black community. We're so separated. We're so different from each other that we're similar, but we're different. And we ain't trying to connect. We just so worried about, I'm going to get this before this nigga get this. And it's killing us. We want to go out and buy all their products, but we ain't got no product. Not even the dope that's in that nigga pocket that's selling that shit. That's not his product. That's they shit. So yeah, they'll let you go out there and slang your dope in the community and make your money. But then when they get tired of you and you're no longer valuable to them, or they find a new person, or they move their dope to a new operation somewhere else, the secret indictments roll out. Or when it's election time, the secret indictments roll out. You got to learn the system. Learn how everything has been built to keep people where they are. So I truly believe that if the black man finally matures, leave this adolescent way of thinking, move on up into the new society, the new way of life, that it'll be better for America as a whole. It might not be better for the elite because they won't be able to keep their jails full anymore because we won't be selling their dope. We won't be robbing nobody. We'll be educating ourselves and trying to find a way to make our community stronger, to bring business back to our community, to build commerce inside our community, to be able to educate our kids, to make them understand, look, there's a war going on that you have no part in choosing. This war was validated the day you was born. There was somebody that was put on this earth to destroy you. You have to understand how to visually see this person without seeing them. How to outsmart this person without them knowing that you're trying to outsmart them. How to make moves when they try to use you. Everybody's been used a lot. It's called usury. You know what I'm saying? We get used. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn how to exist inside this world to create your own. If we're not trying to create shit for ourselves, we're constantly going out here and buying shit for, but not having. And having people come and, you know, engage in what you're trying to create. Instead of being satisfied with getting a job, why are we just training people to get jobs? We should be training people to create industry. And we're so busy not stopping our kids from that bullshit by saying, you trying to be smart, you trying to be white. If a kid say this, you need to be telling them, no, you trying to be free. Because right now you enslaved and you don't know it. They don't have to put you in cages anymore. They don't have to go out here and hunt you anymore. You volunteer for that shit. And when somebody speaks to you in a certain manner, then you so quick to talk bad about this person. I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm the worst of the worst. I done did it all. But I learned something. Growing up in the 90s, I learned something. I was a 90s thug. I done did it all. But God kept me here for a reason. And I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep trying to come at people. You ain't got to like the way I'm coming at you. You ain't even got to listen to me. I'm still going to be that same person. Because I got love for people, for humanity. It hurts me to see us struggling like this in a time where we can go any place we want just like that. Our voices can be heard around the world just like that. But yet we still use the most primitive tool that's on this planet, and that's murder. That's killing. Instead of trying to hash things out, trying to find a way that we all can exist and be happy here. You know? It's like this movie I was watching last night, actually called Insurgents, you know what I'm saying? Until one person proved that they was worthy to take that elevated step, they were still out there, the divergence or whatever the hell they call it, they still trying to destroy each other. Somebody got to say it's enough, man. It's time. Stop worrying about what the other side doing. Learn the system. Develop your own chain. If you develop a chain to success and you make sure that every link in that chain is strong, we can make it, man. But we steady out here hating on each other. We steady out here trying to pull each other like crabs in a fucking barrel. It's hard to sit here and look at this stuff and not say that you don't understand how things are going. Either you just don't give a shit, you're ignoring it, or you just don't want the boss man to recognize that you black. But they already know that. Ain't no hiding that. Are you Hispanic? Are you other than white? They know what you are. So you can't hide from that. You can be as proper as you want, but they still know you're a nigga that know how to talk good. In their eyes. And Pac said he a thug. I carry that in my heart, man. I'm a thug to this day. I'm a hustler. You know what I'm saying? I know how to get down when I need to get down. I know how to get in. I'm a man. At the same time, I know how to use this right here to get what I want in a timely manner. And I'm telling you like this. When I step out of this past life that I'm leaving right now, when I step out of this studying for war every day, ready to kill my fellow man, when I leave this life, I just want peace. I want to try to make things better for everybody. But the first place I have to start is in my own community. It has nothing to do with me hating any other nationality, because I don't hate nobody. I feel empathy. I feel sorry for those people who's been lied to and don't understand how to escape the lie. I feel even sorry for them when they finally recognize the truth and see the truth and understand that the system that they love so much and they covet so much has destroyed everything that they will ever know. I feel empathy for them. I'm sorry. It's hard to understand how you've been lied to since your existence. And the people that lie to you know this shit, and they keep going further and further to further elevate this lie and to keep you trapped in the same mindset that you are today. It doesn't make sense. Picture a truck in the mud. It just keeps spinning its tires. Now, some of us know that if you rock back and forth, eventually you will get out of there with the right movement. But see, humanity is not doing that. We just spinning our fucking tires. And all it's doing is taking us deeper and deeper down this damn rabbit hole. We got to elevate this. We got to free this. We got to start using this more. Put your heart into the existence of the situation that you are in. Connect your heart, your mind, and your breadbasket. That's Christ-like. Not a walking Jesus, but Christ-like in here. Reconnect to humanity. Reconnect with your empathy and your compassion. Start caring about your fellow man. Don't make that divide down the middle saying, well, they white, I don't give a shit, or they black, I don't give a shit. That's what starts the separation, and that is what weakens your soul. That's what weakens your spirit. If we was only meant to be one type of man here, then we all would be the same color and we'd be fighting over other shit. But we sitting here fighting over something so simple that we ourselves can't control. And we fight over the pigment of your skin. Can you tell me, when did you choose to be black or white? When did you choose to be American or European or East Indian or Asian? Did you decide that on your own? No. This shit is like Russian roulette. Just by chance, you are who you are. Be who you are. Allow people around you to be who you are. Stop trying to stunt the growth of other people because you don't understand. Let's start supporting each other, trying to help each other elevate, so that way when I elevate, you elevate, because I'm not going to, hey, no man left behind. Protect your kids. Stop allowing your kids to be raised by these television shows and these stars who get paid to be a character. If they stop being who they are, they fade away. Now, our superstars, the guys that's out here playing these football games and stuff, the ones who think they can say and act however they are, and every once in a while, you know, the media smack that ass and let them know that they're just a nigga. They just a story. They just entertainment. You entertainment for us. We got to start training our kids to protect their star power, to protect their future, so when they do get ready to step out into this world, that they can project a positive image. So that they know no shit, because they're going to hold everything against us in our past. So if we done did some stuff, we done did something embarrassing or something we shouldn't be doing, you know, they're going to exploit that. We got to start training our kids to do the right things even when nobody's watching. It's a hard life, man. If you're not prepared for this war that's going on, it's a silent war. It's a war of writing. It has nothing to do with niggas being shot by the cops. That's just frustration because Obama was president. It goes way deeper than that. This shit is in the books. There's laws in the books about this shit. Locking you up. Making mandatory prison sentences. Making it mandatory that these prisons, these privately owned prisons, have to be at 97% capacity. Start learning this shit so you can understand how to keep your kids out of harm's way. Otherwise, it's just going to keep revolving. We're going to keep protesting. They're going to keep filming us. It's going to keep going to the last nigga is here by himself. It's a sad world we living in, but we can take control of our own destination if we just put our hands on the steering wheel and ride this thing together. Like Pac said, you know, you ain't never had a friend like me. I'm down for you, so ride with me. Your enemies, my enemies, because you ain't never had a friend like me. That's some real shit. Even though we think that we're not at war, and the government says that it's not at war with the black community, it is. We are. The rules are set up to make sure that we stay in check. And we accept those rules and separate ourselves from our brothers and sisters and won't work with each other to move ourselves to the next echelons. All of these years, you think about all of these years of these musical artists, these football players, these basketball players, these baseball players, these stars, these people that's coming up in life, these black prominent people, and we still in the same fucking hole that we in. How is that possible? It's called divide and conquer. You're not like them other niggas. You different. And then the nigga start believing that he not like us other niggas. He different. He special. So he don't come back to the community and help the people. She don't come back to the community and help the people. And when they do, the white people, the handlers will tell them, hey, you're doing a little too much over there. It's messing up your persona. You need to draw back. Go to some of these white hospitals and take pictures with the little white sick kids. Them niggas are dead weight. Shake them off. Think about that. What if they all came together and decided they was going to elevate the black community? Build centers so we could sit there and we could talk to each other around. Start understanding each other. What if Pac and Snoop and fucking all of them finally did get together and start that youth football league, that national youth football league. I don't know if y'all ever heard it. They wanted to start a national football league with rappers in the South, North, East, and West and start bringing the kids all around each other, interacting with each other at an early age, making friends on coast to coast, South, Midwest, all over. We wouldn't have this problem right now. There's a lot of reasons why they had to get rid of Tupac. Tupac was motivational to people. He spoke to the people. His lyrics, his words, his presence, because the last thing you want to do is piss off a black man because we are raw. That's what scares the shit out of them. We're uber aggressors. And we always going to be like that. But we got to start here now. We got to go in here now. We're going to always have the bronze and the strength. We got to get cerebral. We can no longer depend on our rawness to get us by in this life. Because they make rules to imprison your rage, to imprison your strength. And then some of you get in there and lose your manhood. Some of them get in there and start taking another man's manhood. Now look at us, man. We spinning out of control. We're digressing. We're going backwards from where we were at the time of Martin Luther King, these great leaders. We were left with Jesse Jackson and fucking Al Sharpton. Are you shitting me? And they ain't nothing but two fucking lapdogs. That's all they are. They had never been anything else. That's all they will ever be because they're more worried about who they are, what they get. They're not worried about your black ass. So every time that we step up and start something, the Black Panthers got turned into a terrorist organization. Black Panthers turn into a terrorist organization. Black Lives Matter turns into a terrorist organization because they're afraid. If they're not involved in it, if they can't control it, then they're afraid of it. Controllers always got to have control. Controllers make rules so they remain in control. Controllers pass law so they always stay in control. Unless you learn this system, you're going to always be on the foot. Unless you become economically viable in this system that is called capitalism today, you will always be on the foot. So we have to figure out how to get off the snide. How to do more than entertain. Play football, fetch basketballs, shuck and jive and dance and tell fucking jokes. We can do that, but we need to own our own talent. You own what you create. Don't allow somebody else to take your gifts and give your gifts to the world and give you back shit. They've done this to so many of these young artists. They did it to hip-hop. They took hip-hop away from us. Hip-hop is no longer something that we can use to communicate like we used to. It's no longer somebody telling you what's going on in their neighborhoods. Now it's all about partying, drinking, getting turned up, and you know, turned down for what it's no longer viable to the people who created it. We created hip hop and we don't even own that shit no more. How thug is that? How gangster is that? And we watched that shit happen. They forced Master P out. They forced fucking Death Row out. They forced Priority out by killing Eazy-E. And now they own it. They decide who's gonna be hot. They decide who's gonna be the next. You know what I'm saying? Get down or lay down. And y'all steady going out here and supporting these bootleg ass, no talent having young kids who don't know shit about life. The music, the beats sound great. What the fuck are they talking about? Creating the next generation, this is gonna take it back even further. We started elevating in the music. We started making sense politically. We started telling stories. KRS-One, you know what I'm saying? Boogie Down Productions, they was making sense. They was making too much noise. NWA came out and started doing their thing. They was making too much noise, and they was like, oh my God, how could it get even worse? And then, boom, motherfucking Tupac. Yeah, they was like, okay. Even DMX, you know what I'm saying, had a little something at a time, you know? But now, music is not owned by us anymore. That's our talent. That's what we gave the world. We gave the world hip-hop, a means of communication. It was like Morse code. It was some shit that took them by shock. That people were saying rap wouldn't make it. Now they own it. And we fighting just to get real niggas some airplay. Because they go to a radio station, they say, you're going to play this CD all day, every fucking day. Until you start liking that shit. It's time for us to take our music back, to take our talents back. And if a motherfucker's just whack, he ain't no lyricist, he ain't making no sense, he just talking about whatever, we gotta get rid of it. We don't need it. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. Because I don't want to hear that garbage. I go on YouTube and I find the artists I want to listen to, old school, whatever it may be. You know, forget how beautiful music can be sometimes. But don't let me get away from the subject. I'll go back to the subject, man. 42 years old, and I think about it like it's time for me to step out and stop being afraid and being in my own way and stop being afraid of just speaking, just being real. I know people gonna judge me over the shit that I had going on my past, 2 ex-wives and all of this shit. I know that. But didn't you live life too, motherfucker? Maybe you still with your lady that you married because you in the limelight. You can't exactly just step away from a bad situation. And now y'all not even nothing but fucking roommates. She got a dude, you got a girl. You ain't no different from me. I was just brave enough to change my circumstances. So I was brave at that point. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the traditional person. I don't want to be tied down and all this stuff because I got too much stuff that's like Sansa and Delilah. So I understand who I am. Those of you who gonna meet me eventually in my life, those of you who know me right now, just let me be who I am. I don't mean no harm towards nobody. But you can't control a shooting star. You can't control an exploding volcano. You can't control a tidal wave. And that's what I equate my personality to. My strength is my solitude. That's my strength. When I sit around, I can think and I can concentrate and I can come up with the concepts that we need, that I need, that I think that would work in our community to make us one again, to turn us back into that village that's responsible for each individual. Not just responsible when they do some bad shit, but responsible to support them when they're trying to start something that's going to be positive for our community. That's what we need to start doing. And I thank you guys that's coming in here and listening to me talk. It's not rants. I wrote this down. You know, I got 2 pages of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? My thoughts and stuff like that. I wrote this down because I feel that it's essential that I share it. Because who knows how long I'm going to be here? Who knows how long you're going to be here? We got to start networking and sharing and creating a better opportunity for our people. Because our people are the key to the society being perfect. Because we are oppressed. And anytime that there's oppression anywhere, the system is always afraid of failure. And when the system is afraid of failure, it turns cannibalistic and it starts eating those that it's afraid of. And that's what's going on right now. The system is being cannibalistic on black and brown people. The system is being cannibalistic on poor people because it's afraid of them, because the system don't want to be poor. The system don't want to be black. The system don't want to be brown. The system just want to make money. And what make money to them makes sense. So if we, as black men, women, brown men and women, poor people, don't get the opportunities that you get, you're going to always have problems like this. It's always going to be that divide and conquer factor is always going to exist, because you can always turn people against each other by throwing the blame at one direction. One side blames one side for the bad things. Just like I was reading, you know, this book, and it's talking about the age of Pisces, where we are right now. You know, so the age of Pisces, you see people driving around and they have this little fish on the back of their car, and they think that the fish means Jesus, you know, that this is Jesus. Well, see, you have to understand what that goes back to. Again, that's looking behind the person who's telling you that, the perception factor. They're telling you perceive this fish as Jesus, but you got to understand there's something behind it. Jesus' time was during the age of Pisces. Pisces is represented by 2 fish. And it's the same shit that we going through right now. Those 2 fish. Those 2 people that you can divide and blame. Those 2 fish. If you ever look at Pisces, go look at it. It's 2 fish. One is convinced and the other one is not convinced. So they argue in these points. It's 2 fish. They're always confused. They're fish because fish don't have the ability to remember. They go by, you know, they go by nature. You know what I'm saying? They go by their instincts. So these 2 fish are confused and they're arguing with each other. And that's what our society represents right now, because we are living in the age of Pisces. We're arguing against each other because we all confused about what really happened. And what's been happening here lately is we're approaching the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is the truth bearer, the people that seek knowledge. And this is why people like me are starting to come out of the woodwork and they're starting to talk to the masses, even if it's just on a small scale. Because now we're starting to understand the concept of the creation of the Western civilization and how it's been set up to keep you brainwashed and put blinders on you like a racehorse. So all you are is a worker bee. You leave the beehive, your house. You go out and you collect pollen for your master, and then you go back home. They tell you to go shopping, you go shopping. You don't believe me? They say Black Friday, all you run to the damn store to go spend your hard-earned money on shit you don't even need. Shit that's not even really worth the value that they selling it to you. You control down to your socks. There's not anything in this world that is not monitored and controlled. Everything we do is monitored and controlled. It's so bad now that they're starting to target old people, people who've lived their life and should be allowed to just be happy. They're starting to target them to boost the economy or boost their pockets even more. You don't believe me? Look at the commercials that say, oh, we're going to grandma and grandma's house, the last place on the planet, and it's boring as hell. So it's trying to sell them cable TV. The average old person, when my grandmother was alive, she didn't have no cable TV in her house. She didn't need it. There was so many damn kids around, it was always entertainment. But now, They going after the old people. They going after the young people. They trying to scare you on every side to make you spend your money, to turn around and give that shit right back to them. You're constantly under attack. Whether you black, white, green, or purple, understand that we stand on level and equal ground. It has nothing to do with our skin pigmentation. It's all about the mighty dollar and who you know. The perception says that if you're white, then at least you're not black. You know? So you feel like you're part of the system when you're not. You're a creation of the system, just like I am a victim of the system. And when the system decides that it wants you to be the victim, then you're going to be the victim. If you don't believe that, then think about this. Affirmative action. The system decided that it needed more black people working. So they created affirmative action to get black people in there. See that? See that quick switch? That's the system adjusting and trying to make sure that it has a balance. But us as people, as citizens, as humans, are not adjusting our approach to this whole situation. We just riding it. If you get on if you get on a horse and you're not trying to guide that horse, you just riding that motherfucker, you ain't putting on no brakes, you ain't pulling on the stirrups, you ain't leaning forward, you just on that. You're not doing nothing. The horse is in control. And that's all we doing. We jumped on this motherfucking horse and we riding. We ain't trying to control nothing. So the system is afraid. The people that control the system don't give a shit because they know we're never going to change. Touchdown Carolina, baby. Okay, I'm back. They know we're not going to change. You know what I'm saying? They just keep looking at it like they make small adjustments. Fix little things here and there to keep us quiet. The rumbling went crazy, people talking about black this, black that, so they gave us Barack Obama to shut us the fuck up. That pissed off the other side, the white people, and now we got Donald Trump. Start doing your history and your little thought processes. Start looking at what's going on, and every time something's crazy, we get a little tweaks in the system. You know what I'm saying? Little tweaks in the system. Every once in a while, something comes back. Like, let me pull this up real quick. Pre-World War II, before World War II started, Hitler passed these laws in Nuremberg that later became the Nuremberg laws, right? So the Nuremberger laws is what they came in. At an annual party rally held in Nuremberg in 1935, the Nazis announced the new laws which institutionalized many of the radical theories that Hitler and the Nazi ideology. The laws excluded German Jews from the right citizenship. So they couldn't get citizenship, right? And they couldn't own property in Germany. They had to wear this armband. It was so many different laws that was involved in it, right? So, like I said, every once in a while, yo, I'm back, man. They trying to blow my video up. So every once in a while, things, you know, come back. Excuse me. Excuse me. History always repeats itself. What was up will come down. What happened once is going to happen again. So we had World War I, World War II, Vietnam. It just keeps happening, right? You know what I'm saying? So we got those laws all over again during the 9/11 incident with our country. Do y'all know what it's called? It's called the Patriot Act. Almost worded the same way as the Nuremberg laws. This shit is crazy. So I'll pull up the Patriot Act, just a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, the U.S. Patriot Act is an act of Congress that was signed into law by President George W. Bush October the 26, 2001 with the 10-letter abbreviation USA Patriot Act. It stands the full titles and unwritten sentencing American by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism. Almost the same verbiage the smooth thing is, they it's like a baby bird being fed by the mother bird. They just threw it back up. We just ate that shit up out of fear. Not understanding that all the rights that was taken away from those German Jews and the Russian Jews and the Polish Jews and the Australian Jews at the time is the same fucking thing the Patriot Act does to us today. Take away all your rights, your sovereignties, your civil, the ability to sit in your home and not just have somebody beat on your door and lock you up and throw you in jail for no fucking reason and hold you in there for a long time. See, this is what happens when we're not educated and we're not concerned with what our government is doing. I mean, I'm sorry that this video just went crazy, but look, man, this is what happens when the oppressed has to stay oppressed. These laws are practiced on black people first. And once they get really good at carrying out these laws, it will trickle down or trickle over to the other communities. This is how it works. You have to have somebody to practice your oppression on. So when martial law is declared, that you're ready to execute your plans. It all goes back to raising your kids to be communicable people, to be able to talk and deal with society instead of breaking down through pressure, not understanding that there are no such things as entitlements in this world. You earn what you get and you get what you earn. And when you don't do the things that you need to do to get those things, don't cry foul. Don't accept handouts. Don't go out here and expect somebody to give you something for nothing. A free trophy and all of this bullshit. You need to understand that if you want something, you need to work for that shit. Intercepting Carolina. Yes, sir. It's hard out here, man. I got love for y'all, and I'm going to always be kicking down the real. As long as I'm collecting air on this planet, as long as God see me to be fit here, I'm going to always spit that real. You ain't got to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Pac said it before, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to listen to me. You ain't got to do what I said, but at least let that shit resonate a little bit. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and watch this game, man. I appreciate all y'all for coming in and peeking out this stuff, man. I hope that if you get a chance, go back and listen to it. If you just came in the middle, go listen to it. I hear some pretty good notes, some pretty good points. And do me a favor, if you followed it to the end and you listened, man, please just share it with your friends too. Just share it. If you believe in it, you believe in it. If you don't believe in it, share it, because somebody else might feel it. You know what I'm saying? Help me out. Network with me. Help me. Support me in my efforts to make our community, our existence as humans, better. All right, man. I love you guys, man. Be easy. I'm going to go watch Carolina beat up on these Redskins, man. I'm out.